The OKC Thunder look completely unstoppable and I would say are easily the best team currently in the NBA as of right now. And I think a lot of people tend to forget they are doing this and looking this dominant without most likely their second best player in Chet Holmgren. He is their only rim protector pretty much on this entire team, besides Isaiah Hartenstein, who's their backup, but now starting center, who's been really good for this Thunder team. But they're missing Chet, who's averaging over 2 blocks per game. He is their entire interior force. He's also averaging a really good stat line that we'll talk about here later in the video, just how impactful Chet is. But the fact that the Thunder are doing this good and look this amazing and have the best record or one of the best records in the entire NBA is super, super impressive. We can take a look here at their schedule and we can see just how dominant they have been over the past month or two and pretty much this entire season. Because if we start up here against Dallas and San Antonio, right, they lost those 2 games back to back, which obviously was very bad losses for them. But then you start at this Portland game, right? They win this game, then they beat Sacramento, they beat Golden State, they beat LA, and they're beating these teams by quite a bit margin as well. They're not like, super, super close games. I mean, some of them are. But then, yes, they do lose to Houston in a very close game that they probably should have won that game, but that was a really good Houston team, and they have been playing really good basketball this season. But then you go to a win to Utah, win to Toronto, win to the Pelicans, win to the Dallas Mavericks. Like, they are just absolutely rolling right now, and they did lose to the Milwaukee Bucks in that NBA Cup Finals, but it doesn't count for your regular season record. So if you don't count that game, because I know, yes, they lost a basketball game, they lost an NBA game, but it doesn't count for the regular season. So if you get rid of that and you start at this Portland game, I believe their record right now is 15-1 over their last 16 games. And if you want to do over their last 17 games, including that Milwaukee game, then yes, they are still 15-2 in their last 17 games. I mean, that is just absolutely insane. They seriously look like the best team in basketball. I know the Cleveland Cavaliers and what they're doing, and I'll do a video on them on later today. And I know how good the Cavs have been. I know how good the Celtics have been. Even the New York Knicks have looked really, really good so far this season. And there's some other couple teams in the West that are also very good. But man, this Thunder team is ridiculous. And I want to quickly take a look at their schedule coming up here because they do have a couple hard games coming up. They got to play the Clippers on the 2nd, which is when I'm recording this video. So they do have a tougher game there in the Clippers, but I think they can probably win that game. Then they do got to play a back-to-back against New York. We know how good the Knicks have been. I think that's a game they could probably drop just because I think Cat will take advantage of his size and take advantage of the Thunder not having Chet Holmgren right now and how good the Knicks have been. So I could see them potentially losing to the Knicks, but you never know, man. This Thunder team's defense is so good, and they've been playing so good recently. Then they got to play the Celtics in an amazing game. Like, if you guys are not watching on Sunday, I know it's an early game. It's at 3:30 Eastern time. So if you're on the West Coast, I think that's 12:30 for you guys. That's definitely not ideal primetime basketball. But if you guys are around on Sunday, you need to be watching this game. It is the OKC Thunder versus the Boston Celtics, which is probably going to be a favorite for the finals matchup this year. But then also, we get another treat 3 days later. Their next game is against the Cleveland Cavaliers. So you got back-to-back games of potential finals matchups between the OKC Thunder and the Boston Celtics, and then the OKC Thunder and the Cleveland Cavaliers. Those should both be really, really good games and should be the highest level of basketball we'll probably ever see until we get to the playoff time. But then they also do have to go play the New York Knicks again. So this 4-game stretch, even if you want to say a 5-game stretch against LA tonight, is a really hard stretch for this Thunder team, and I think will really test them, especially without Chet, because if they can win a majority of these next 4 or 5 games coming up, that's going to give me even more confidence in this Thunder team and just how good they are. But it's going to be a very tough test, because if we check the NBA standings, I mean, they are absolutely blowing out the Western Conference, because yes, the Cleveland Cavaliers, Boston Celtics, and New York Knicks are kind of running that Eastern Conference, and rightfully so, because they are elite and really good basketball teams. But then in the West, I mean, yeah, you got the Grizzlies, you got the Rockets who are kind of up there as well. Like, you got some other really good teams in this Western Conference, but it's really OKC Thunder's conference, and I don't think it's particularly close because these 3 top teams in the East, like the Cavs, the Celtics, and the Knicks, I would say are, maybe there's a drop off from the Celtics and Cavs, to the Knicks. Maybe there's a little bit of a gap there, but I personally don't really think so that much. I think the Knicks are just as good as the Cavs and the Celtics fully healthy. But if you look in the Western Conference, I do think there's sort of a drop off after the OKC Thunder because, yes, the Grizzlies are really good. The Rockets are really good. The Nuggets are really good. The Mavs are really good when fully healthy. Right? Even the Lakers can be a threat. Even the Timberwolves can be a threat. You still have Phoenix and Golden State, who still have Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, and amazing all-star and superstar caliber players. So yes, those teams can still be threats. But I really think there's a drop-off after the OKC Thunder just because of how good they are. They're on a 12-game winning streak. Like, it's just insane. They have the best the best like net difference in the entire NBA at plus 12. I think the second best is, the Cavs at 11.9. So it's very close, but they do have the best net thing. And yeah, it's just insane how good this OKC Thunder team is. And I don't think they're going to be slowing down anytime soon because once they get Chet Holmgren back, we can take a look at his stats here. I think this team's going to elevate even more because they're doing all of this without arguably their second best player. I know J-Dub's been really good this season, and obviously right now he's their second best player alongside Shea. But when Chet comes back fully healthy, and when Chet is healthy at the start of the season, Chet was looking like a top, 5-ish center in the NBA. I don't think that's too crazy to say at the start of the season. Definitely a top 10 center as of right now. But he was averaging 16 points per game, 9 rebounds, while also getting you almost 3 blocks per night. He was at 2.6, and I think he started the season with like the most blocks in the game, most blocks in the NBA for like the first 10 games or however many games he played. But yeah, all around, Chet was amazing to start the season. His 3-ball was also there, right? He was averaging 38% from 3, 50% from the field. So he was at almost 62% sure shooting, which is really, really good. And overall, Chet was looking like an all-star caliber player on a number 1 seed in the OKC Thunder. And if we quickly take a look here at the stats for the OKC Thunder team, they have so many elite players on this roster. I've only really talked about like J-Dub, Chet, and Shea, who are obviously their 3 main players. As we can see, Shea's obviously averaging the most points on the game, most points on the team, I should say, per game at 31.3. I believe that leads the NBA. If not, he's definitely number 1 or number 2. But then he's also getting you 2 steals a night. J-Dub's also getting you pretty much 2 steals a night. Like, this team defensively is ridiculous. You have Caruso almost 2 steals a night, Case and Wallace almost 2 steals a night, and this team does lead the league in steals per game. So they are one of the best defensive teams, especially on the perimeter. And then once they're going to get Chet Holmgren back, they are all around. I mean, I would say right now are probably one of the best defensive teams in the NBA without Chet Holmgren, who we know is a all NBA type of defender. Like, he probably would make a all defensive team, either the first team or the second team if he was fully healthy this season. So you're talking about that, putting Chet kind of in the center of that defense and then surrounding him with guys like Shea on the perimeter, Casey Wallace, Caruso, J-Dub, Lou Dort. Like, this team is ridiculous on the defensive end, and I think that's what really separates them from the other teams like the Boston Celtics and the Cavs, because the Cavs are really good. They're a firehouse offensively. They are flamethrowers. They are so good at scoring the basketball. But who's like an elite defender on that team? Donovan Mitchell on the perimeter, maybe he's like a solid defender. Garland, I wouldn't say is a good defender. Their small forwards aren't good defenders. I mean, yeah, Mobley's a good paint defender. Jared Allen's a good paint defender. But on the perimeter, they have all defensive caliber players like Shea, J-Dub, Dort, Caruso, Case and Wallace, right? And then they also do have Chet and Isaiah Hartenstein in the middle as really good paint defenders. So across the board, this Thunder team is absolutely clamps and lockdown. And then you look at the numbers for like J-Dub, 21 points per game. He's giving you 5 assists, 6 rebounds. Like I said, almost 2 steals per night while shooting the basketball at, decent efficiency, 35.5% from 3. You got Shea at 35% from 3. I mean, by no means is this like one of the best 3-point shooting teams in the NBA. There's obviously a lot of teams out there that are a lot better than them shooting the ball from 3, but they still have some efficient 3-point shooters like Aaron Wiggins off the bench, gives you 38% from 3, 9 points per game. Very solid. And they have like a good, I would say like 8 to 9 man rotation with Chet fully healthy. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Maybe you get the other Jalen Williams, the other center to play, but if you already have Isaiah Hartenstein and Chet, especially in like the playoffs, if you're trying to shorten your rotation, I don't think he's really going to be getting any minutes. But this team is super deep and just all around, I would say, the best team in the NBA as of right now. But let me know in the comment section down below, what do you guys think about the OKC Thunder? Do you guys think they're the best team in the league right now? They have looked completely unstoppable, and unbeatable. But let me know your guys' thoughts and opinions down below, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.